Alright, fellas, we got the announcement for the last wave of the rebalances, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a fan of this one. So, let's take a look. There's going to be one thing nerfed. It's going to be Eclipse. Eclipse is going to get another nerf. Totally unnecessary. I don't even think the first nerf was necessary. The problem was just Revoker, and they dealt with the Revoker. So honestly, I don't think Eclipse needed either of the nerfs, but it's going to get nerfed again. Pretty much to what I predicted from the start, which is essentially flip-flopping the cooldown and the duration. It's going to have a duration of 8 seconds, cooldown of 10 seconds. I don't think that was necessary, but I don't think it's going to kill it either because of Outlaw's buff that it's going to get. 20% speed boost, that's fine. But then they're going to make it so that it can go through walls. It has 100 meters, and you could put a range implant on it. And they're going to make it so it can go through walls. I don't think you guys understand. This is going to make all tanks unusable, because every single tank has a really long cooldown. It's going to make all tanks unusable. This is going to make all heavy-duty weapons unusable. This is going to make most assault weapons unusable. This is going to make most missile weapons unusable. This is going to make most things completely unusable. You're going to be forced to run exclusively a lot of stealth type things, and you're going to have to be extremely careful with even showing your face, because the moment you show your face, you're going to get targeted by multiple outlaws, 2, maybe even 3, because it's just going to be that good. It's stupid. The point here, I'm sure, was to take care of all of the Deathwalker spam, but you don't solve one spam problem by making it countered by another spam problem. You don't just be like, oh, okay, well, now people just spam Outlaw instead. Like, it's now a two-man problem, right? If you don't have Outlaw, then it's Deathwalker spam, and if you have Outlaw, then it's Outlaw spam. There's no problem that's being solved here. They should have just nerfed Deathwalker. This is a stupid move, and I really hope that they reverse it. But then again, if they roll it out and then people invest in Outlaw and then they reverse it afterward because it's a really bad idea, then people are going to be mad that they reversed it. So there's no winning at this point. It's just a dumb idea. I don't even know who thought that this was a good idea. I don't know. Mimicker is going to get a buff, a speed bonus from 20% to 30% while it's in stealth, right? So when you scan a scout, it gets speed bonus. A little bit of extra speed, sure, whatever. The tank mode gets the shield. That shield durability is going to go up 50%. That's good. That's needed. Bastion also kind of needs that, to be honest. Need more shield HP. The healing speed's going to go up by more than double, but the duration is going to go down by almost half. So the actual figure for your extra healing, it's about 30% more healing per ability. Salvor is going to get a 40% HP buff, which is going to make it in line with, like, Blockhorn and Deathwalker, I'm pretty sure. So that's kind of unnecessary. And the HP that it heals of itself is going to go up by 50%. Now, I think it currently heals about a third of what it heals allies. So, like, when you fire it, you heal yourself a bit, but you also heal allies. And whatever it is that you heal allies, you heal a third of that yourself. So now it's going to be buffed up to more like half. So you heal yourself half as much as you heal your allies. I don't think Salvor needs to be that tanky. I get the concept behind making it tankier is to make it more rewarding in endgame play, but the truth of the matter is that in lower SP lobbies, Salvor is already incredibly tanky and very difficult to deal with, and this is just going to make it even worse. And then the last thing that they're going to buff is Redeemer. They're going to make it so that it can remove all status effects at all ranks as opposed to only at max level. Now, that's cool, but you know what I'm not seeing on this list? I'm not seeing Carbine, or Disc Launcher, or Redox, or Brickhouse, or Scorpius, or any of these things that are so freaking garbage that they clearly need buffs. Things that are way worse than Outlaw. People already use Outlaw. Things that are worse than Salvor, and even Mimicker, for the most part. These things are really garbage, and they're not even going to buff it? Why? Like, oh, but Redeemer's going to buff it, so it's like, yeah, cool, Redeemer, whatever, sure. It's good fan service, but you know what? It's not balanced. Like, there's no balance. Redeemer doesn't need a buff. I don't care how much you like it. The truth of the matter is it didn't need a buff. If you're going to make an argument for any epic mech needing a buff, it would be Sentinel, who gets the same deal with a max perk that you should be able to use at all ranks, but you can only use it at max level. So why didn't Sentinel get that? I don't know. Honestly, this entire last thing, like, I had some high hopes for this last wave. I did. There was a lot of stuff that they still needed to do. There was a lot of things that they still need to buff. Some things that they needed to nerf again, Deathwalker, Stormrack. I think those kind of need nerfs. They inadvertently nerfed Deathwalker by making Outlaw way better, but by making Outlaw way better, they make 90% of other mechs and weapons way worse. So it's just ridiculous. It's just completely ridiculous. And again, I don't think people understand just how awful it's going to be to play against multiple outlaws that can system crash you through walls. It is going to be obnoxious. It's not that just like, oh, this thing came and killed me. No, it's just that you just can't do anything. The entire match, you cannot do anything. You'd be required to use stealth, required to use Seeker. You can't use any weapon that has a reload time over like 5 or 6 seconds. You won't be able to use any brawler mech outside of Nomad, because when Nomad gets system crashed, it gets extra resistance, and that's not a big deal. So like Nomad's going to be the only brawler. You're going to have a lot of Seekers. You're going to have probably still Eclipses because the stealth duration. Mimicker also, it's got stealth and it got a big buff, but I don't think it's going to be meta still. Lay Swing will probably be another meta one just because it can get up on rooftops, and after it gets up into a roof, it kind of doesn't care if it has the ability anymore. What I'm trying to say is it's going to be a massive, disgusting camper fest. You're not going to be able to move anywhere. You're not going to be able to use the things that you want to use. You're going to be forced to use a very, very tiny selection of items just to be able to play the game even. Just to be able to play the game. Bro, I don't want an EMP meta. I don't want a Hemlock meta. I don't want a Surge meta. I don't want an Outlaw meta. I don't want primary dominant mechs in the game to be the ones that keep you from playing the freaking game. It's completely ridiculous. And how you could not see that this is a problem, like a big problem, is kind of wild. Like, I don't know who decided that this was a good idea for Outlaw to be able to go through walls, and they didn't even increase the cooldown at all. It's like 10 or 12 seconds, right? They could have at least increased the cooldown to like 16 seconds, probably more like 18 or 20. Even, I think Bastion is like 16 seconds, and his ability isn't even that good. It's just like the most negative foresight I've ever seen in my life, dude. And like, sure, there's a couple things that they did that I like, right? Like the Mimicker buff, I like the Mimicker buff. The Redeemer buff, I do like the Redeemer buff, but like, who freaking cares, dude? There's so many other things that need it so much more. Why did they not get one? Why does Outlaw get like the absolute buff of the century? I just don't get it, and I really can't be happy at all with this update simply because of how kind of freaking stupid most of it is. That's just my thoughts. You guys can let me know your thoughts in the comments. Maybe you highly disagree with me, but I don't imagine anyone with an IQ above 20 would disagree with the fact that this Outlaw buff is way too much, and that, you know, a lot of other things needed buffs way more than freaking Salver and Redeemer do. But yeah, TLDR, not looking forward to this one, but we will see how it goes when it actually arrives.